The Mobile Pixels Geminos dual stacked monitor display is anything but mobile and quite bizarre. Billed as a productivity tool, it includes two stacked 24-inch HD screens which neatly unfold, though at 9.1 kilograms or 20 pounds, I'm not sure why they fold, because you're not realistically going to be picking this odd-shaped thing up and carrying it anywhere. It also acts as a USB hub with an SD slot, micro SD, USB ports, Ethernet connectivity and speakers, as well as a built-in webcam and pass-through 100-watt charging. But given the limited 1080p HD 60Hz on both screens and costing more than two 24-inch higher spec monitors, plus a vertical mount system, it's a difficult sell. So what does this offer that other solutions don't? I'm James Bruce, you're watching MakeUseOf.com. Let's delve into the Mobile Pixels Geminos. First up then, unboxing and initial impressions. Not going to lie, it's a confusing product, even for this seasoned tech reviewer. Right from out of the box, you're bombarded with stickers everywhere telling you not to do this or to do it this way and instead, or to be careful in case you injure your hand, that these buttons are for the top and these buttons are for the bottom, and these ports are for the top. You'd have thought that actually labelling the monitor in small text somewhere would suffice, but no, we're treated to labels instead. And the fact that there are so many of these labels just goes to show how complex it kind of is. And admittedly, even with those countless labels everywhere, I still found it confusing as to how exactly you're supposed to collapse it or lift it up or do anything with it. To save you the trouble, push down from the top to fold it back and carry on pushing to unlock the folding back mechanism. To pull up, use the hinged corners, holding it from the bottom, and be careful. Now, built into the rather standard looking monitor stand is a USB hub, which provides Ethernet and SD card slot and more USB-As on the side ports, though given that the device is split into two displays, I should tell you that the hub is connected to the bottom display only, as is the webcam, which is situated above the top display. So it seems clear that this is designed to be used with a single machine rather than showing one computer on the top and one on the bottom. There's no built-in KVM switch functionality either, so if you did want the top and bottom to be independent, well then the top you would need to run separate USB cables from your accessories back to a different machine rather than rely on some kind of switching hub capability. You can connect either with HDMI or USB-C alt mode or with a special USB-C virtual display driver, but bear in mind none of the hub features will work unless you're using the USB-C connection. Of course, HDMI isn't bidirectional. For use with my Mac, I've used USB-C for the bottom display in DisplayPort mode and HDMI for the top secondary output. One other point to note on the design is that I'm a little disappointed by the stand at the back. I know it isn't visible when you're sitting in front, but it is a little bit exposed. When you go to pick it up, you get your fingers in there and there's some kind of sticky residue on this one, not grease, though you can also feel that. There's no cover on it at all, and my fingers did naturally go in there when trying to pick it up to rearrange my desk. I mean, where else are you supposed to grab? It's just not obvious. This particular Geminos model is 1080p Full HD and 60Hz refresh, so I can already hear some gamers groaning. And honestly, that's a fair criticism at this price point. You might expect a faster refresh. It's an IPS matte display and it certainly looks good, but it's nothing remarkable. It's not HDR, and compared to the InnoCN monitors I've been reviewing lately, which are cheaper than this, it feels more like a big laptop screen. So these screens are strictly for productivity rather than creative or gaming work. So design niggles aside, how is it in use? Well, it's much as you'd expect one monitor stacked on top of another to be. It's widely accepted that your eyes should be in line with the middle of your display, and I suppose they are here, but in the fold line. Now, having to look too much up or down gets uncomfortable after a while. I found the best position for me was for the base to be at a slight angle and then bring the top down. If you want, you can go to an even more extreme and put one display sort of 90 degrees right below you, which I'll note that when this product was originally pitched to me, I was told it had a touchscreen here, which I thought was immensely cool because it almost becomes a laptop with a virtual keyboard and you can draw on it, etc. This model doesn't, however, because in the end they sent me the standard Gemino model, and it's only the Geminos X that features the touchscreen and a higher resolution display. Now, I tried to angle the screen more extreme when sitting down, and the distance that I tend to sit from my monitor, I just found that the keyboard bashed into the screen when I collapsed it. Supposedly, the angling feature is for swapping between sit-stand desk setups, but I'm not really sure if it's useful. If your desk is height adjustable anyway, then you set it at the right height for your eyes. You shouldn't need to adjust the monitor. Regardless of whether you're sitting or standing, why would putting the display at an angle help you there? Speaking of height adjustable, the Geminos isn't, outside of angling the bottom screen, which naturally pulls down the top clamshell. You also can't rotate the monitor to change it into a massive book-type display, which I think would have been a big selling feature had it existed, but it doesn't. So one other thing I've noticed is that I get a lot of reflections on the top monitor, which I don't normally with my usual monitor in the same place. And I suspect that's just because normally I would block out the light. But with this, it's so high up that naturally it catches some reflections, probably off the top of my head. Luckily, the built-in webcam can tilt downwards, so you can actually be in the frame regardless of where you sit or stand. Now, look, there's no denying that having stacked screens like this can be an enormous productivity boost. I found myself switching windows less because I just had to move the cursor and could keep a bunch of stuff open at once. Emails on the top or video previews in Final Cut. I have tried dual side-by-side monitors before, and normally I use a super wide monitor, but not found them nearly as useful as something being stacked like this. It is an ultimate productivity boost, absolutely no arguments there. I also tried different inputs with a gaming PC on one and my Mac for work on the other, and that obviously did absolutely nothing for my work productivity, but my Company of Heroes campaign certainly progressed faster than normal, so swings and roundabouts. Ergonomically speaking, I haven't found any ill effects yet, but I don't tend to sit at my desk for 8 hours continuously a day. My job naturally means I'm up and about, unboxing things, filming outdoors, setting equipment up, that sort of thing. So I can't speak to any long-term health effects of using a setup like this, but my initial impressions are that it's pretty ergonomic, pretty comfortable, and you shouldn't have long-term issues. However, what I can speak to is the pricing. The Geminos standard model, which I've been testing here, costs $700 during the launch sale, though it lists with an RRP of $1,000. Now, I found a heavy-duty stacked monitor mount on Amazon.com for $50, and even a couple of high-end 24-inch G-Sync compatible gaming monitors costing no more than $200 each. Let's allow $100 for a USB hub and webcam. Granted, it won't be built in, but the total cost is $650 for far superior displays. The unique selling points here seem to be twofold. See what I did there? Twofold. So firstly, the folding and the fact that you could angle the bottom display to quite an extreme if you wanted. That's not something you could easily achieve with a generic vertical mount, although they do let you angle them a little bit. So you really have to ask yourself how much you value the prospect of sort of 90-degree or 45-degree angles. You can completely collapse, fold the Geminos down if you want. I'm just not sure why you would though. To protect the screens maybe? The second big selling feature is the built-in combined all-in-one hub function. The webcam isn't bad, the speakers are a little better than what you'd expect from a monitor normally, and the hub functionality is nice, but you probably already have a webcam and hub. Unless you really must have that neatness of it all being built in, it seems like a pretty hefty premium. So overall, it's a difficult sell for me. For what it is taken in isolation, it's a great product. It's convenient, it works over USB-C where compatible, it combines all of these great features, and it'll make you into a productivity powerhouse, not debating that. But in the wider scheme of things, you're paying a lot for having those features combined. Even at the early bird sale price of $700, you could get better monitors and mount them basically like this for a lot less money on your static desk. It won't be nearly as neat, it won't fold away, and it will be static, it'll be stuck on your desk. You'll have more cables, but fundamentally it doesn't seem to offer as much value as the price would suggest. Anyway, I hope that gave you an honest opinion of the Geminos dual stacked monitor system from Mobile Pixels. If it did, hit like or hit me up in the comments with any feedback or questions, and I'll try my best to answer you. Thanks for watching as ever. Consider subscribing for more reviews, gadget giveaways, and more from all of us over at makeuseof.com.